Yellowstone universe promised us 3 shows for 2025. One of them is The Madison, which is currently being filmed, and it is likely to be out at the end of the years. Another one is 4/6, which we have been waiting for years at this point. And to this day, we have no idea when will it be out exactly. And then there is 1944, which is the one that you guys are probably most excited about since it is the continuation of the hit series, 1923. I feel like we are all obsessed with Yellowstone prequels. So it does not surprise me that so many of you guys are already going crazy for 1944. Plus, we know for sure that it will welcome back some of the 1,923 characters in the show as well, which makes it even more exciting. The good news is, we already have somewhat of an idea on what to expect from it. So, without further ado, let's talk about. In 1944, the story jumps about 21 years forward, which puts Spencer and Alexandra's son, John Dutton II, in his early 20s. And yep, you guessed it, that makes him the father of Kevin Costner's John Dutton. That alone makes 1944 one of the most important chapters in the entire Yellowstone saga. But let me be real with you for a second. Just like many of you guys, 1923 left me absolutely gutted. After everything Spencer and Alexandra went through just to be together, at the end of the series, Alexandra dies of frostbite right after giving birth. I know, so cruel of Taylor Sheridan for putting us all go through that. In fact, I don't think I've forgiven Taylor Sheridan for pulling that one on us. It felt extremely brutal, maybe even unnecessary. But here's why I think 1944 matters so much. It feels like Taylor's way of circling back to give us some sort of redemption. The thing is, John Dutton II is going to be a young man shaped by tragedy. Growing up without a mother leaves scars that never really heal, and that grief will definitely mold him into a Dutton who's more complicated, more scarred, and maybe even more dangerous than any of the ones who came before him. Now here's the twist none of us could ever see coming. Julia Schleipfer, the actress who played Alexandra, has actually said she's open to returning even though her character died. At a For Your Consideration event earlier this year, she said, "I know Brandon was lobbying for me to be a ghost. I'd be an Alex ghost for sure. And honestly, I'd be totally fine with that. Even if it is absolutely crazy to get her back after such a harsh death, I'm still on board with the idea. I can already imagine her appearing as a ghost, which would probably destroy me emotionally, but in the best way possible. That being said, bringing back a dead character would be bold for sure. Instead, the behind-the-scenes rumors suggest that Elizabeth will be in 1944, who is still alive and well. She just moved to another state, that's it. So, it is not shocking that she will reappear in 1944. Plus, she was pregnant with Jack's child the last time we saw them. This means she is carrying the heir of the Duttons, making her directly related to the Duttons. Now, let's talk about Spencer for a second. Brandon Sklenar has already said he'd love to return, and honestly, I can't even picture 1944 without him. Seeing an older, tougher Spencer trying to raise his son while the whole world is at war? That's the kind of story I'm dying to see. And remember, 1923 also dropped that little hint about Spencer eventually having a romance with a widowed woman. Personally, I don't think that was just a random throwaway detail. I fully expect that to come into play here, with her stepping in to help raise John Dutton II and leaving her own imprint on the Dutton legacy. Plus, we know that Brandon is currently working on a movie with Taylor Sheridan, so he is already one of the favorites of Sheridan, which is always a good sign. The thing is, it is rumored that 1944 will witness one of the most complicated romance stories in the Dutton family history, as it is claimed that Spencer's so-called widowed partner later in life will be Elizabeth, which is simply crazy. But I know many of you guys were obsessed with the line at the end of 1923 that deliberately expressed that Spencer has been with a widow after Alexandra's death, and I agree that it was an odd choice to mention that out of nowhere. And I also believe that it was referring to a character that was important for the story. I mean, who can be more important than Elizabeth in this case? Basically, no one. So, it is rumored that the first episode of the series will witness Elizabeth making a return to the Dutton Ranch all those years later, with her son claiming inheritance. Spencer will resist first, but then he will give in as he will feel it would be wrong to leave his niece's widow out. And this will mark the beginning of this romance. But it will also be the beginning of the competition between John Dutton II and Elizabeth's son. So, expect lots of rivalry and fight between the two young boys. By the way, we can't forget about the backdrop that's going to shape this entire series, World War II. And let's be clear, this isn't just some background noise. It's the very heart of 1944. We've seen the Duttons survive the Wild West in 1883, make it through the Great Depression in 1923, and deal with loss after loss. But war changes everything. John Dutton II is exactly the right age to be drafted, which means we'll probably see him on the battlefield. So think about training camps, missions overseas, those life or death decisions. And while he's gone, the Yellowstone Ranch won't be spared either. The war effort is going to impact resources, manpower, even how the land is managed. For the first time, the ranch itself will be pulled into a global conflict, and that's something we've never seen before in the Yellowstone timeline. Unfortunately, you shouldn't expect this show to drop in 2025. Taylor Sheridan's schedule is completely stacked, and 1944 is still in development. From everything I've seen, production probably won't even kick off until late 2025, after the Madison is released, which means realistically, we're looking at a premiere sometime in late 2026. For more weekly updates, discussions, and analysis on 1944 and other Yellowstone series, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.